All right. Thank you everyone for joining today. We'll get started here. So my name is Mike Evans and I'm with NTS Direct, and I'm here to talk about Unify's Openscape cloud product. It's recently been announced and it's a pretty exciting thing, and it's got some great features, functionality, and good go-to-market strategy. So we'll go through a lot of the different things here today. Feel free to email us at unify@ntsdirect.com, and we can answer any of those questions at the end as we go through the presentation here. So thank you for joining today, and let's get this going. So first off, I'd like to kind of just explain the offering and go through the Openscape cloud products and what it does, how it does it, and what's involved there. We'll review how we get service and phone calls and all that happening with SIP trunks. And then we can talk about how to become a unified reseller of this product. And then what is the pitch to the end user? I'll do a short demonstration, and we can review the pricing and how it all gets provisioned out. So Openscape Cloud is a cloud-based phone system. So we've basically got a phone system in a data center hosted by Unify, and Unify is owned by Atos, and they are experts in the IT world. So they've created a phone system in the cloud, and you can connect endpoints off of that. So basically, you can have different phones running off of the endpoints, or we can have a software-based solution, or we can have different apps on our mobile devices so that we have full functionality. So we can experience the same thing through all the different devices. It's also paired with their circuit product, and that involves team collaboration, and that's what you're seeing here today. We're able to share screens and show video, have voice and audio, but it's still a full functional phone system. So it's based off of Openscape voice offerings and solutions. So those of you that are familiar with installing that solution, we have very similar feature and functionality. So we can make calls, reject, drop calls. There's auto attendance. Each user has their own voicemail. We can transfer. There's conferencing capabilities, and any other typical kind of functionalities you'd be looking for telephony. How is this sold? It's sold through a licensing package. So we've got a couple different functionalities here. You can mix and match however you need. So if they want 10 enterprise users and 10 essential users, you can deliver that to the end user. So typically the circuit solution or the circuit functionality here is included, and we just scale up with the additional functionalities for conferencing, for storage. So basically number of clients or number of people on the phone system, and then choose which size license they want, and away you go. So here's another breakdown as far as the features and functionality you get. So typical carrier grade voice features are all the way through the series of products from Essential all the way to Enterprise. And then just the number of storage gigabits that each user can have is based off of what license that they've chosen. How many users per tenant? If we're going to exceed the 100, we need to scale up into the team and up. And how many different users per session, and then our conferencing functionalities as far as how many people can be on a conference. So typically we're connecting different endpoints to it. So the traditional method of having a desk phone or a piece of hardware on the desk is fully functional with this offering. So they would plug in these phones, they connect to the hosted cloud solution, and away they go. So they're able to dial out, make calls, call between different users, and have full functionality from the CP series of endpoints based from Unify. If they want to have a Chrome browser functionality, we can do that. So right in your browser, as you can see here in this screenshot, you're able to make your calls, see your different conversations, see the different functionalities, see I have a voice message, I'm able to retrieve that all through the desktop browser or any browser. So anything that has a browser in Chrome, you'd be able to access this and make your calls and make your functionality happen. From a desktop client, there's also a application that can be downloaded and stored on the computer. Set it to fire up as soon as you get your laptop or your PC running. And then we also have the Apple and Android offerings. So if you just type that into the Apple Store or Google Play, you'd be able to download this app and be able to get going with it. So it's really got a flexible deployment strategy, meaning I can have a purely hardware on-premise solution. I can have a hybrid solution of having some on-premise hardware and the Circuit Cloud and Unify. Or I can move to this fully hosted offering, which is in the public cloud, and we're able to connect to it. All we need is the end devices at the end user site on how they would communicate and collaborate. So the next part it's important to talk about is the SIP trunks. So we connect to that hosted system, and then the SIP trunks give the client or the end user functionality to be able to make outside calls into the outside world. So each Openscape Cloud licensed user gets their own dedicated SIP trunk and their own telephone and extension number. So they have a direct DID that people can call in. E911 is available, and so we can define where each user is and make sure that 911 gets there on a timely manner. It's based off of our unlimited package of 1,000 minutes per user, and those are all pooled. And then lastly, you can choose from two methods. So if they've already got existing phone numbers, we can port them over with the signed letter of authorization. So they would submit that to their current provider and get that functionality, or they can select their area code and we'll give them the available numbers in that area. Here's an example of the letter of authorization, and you can see here it's fairly simple. All we need to do is find out who's the current provider, what's the account number, and then what's the existing phone number, and we're able to port those over. It typically takes around a week's timeline. It's just how quickly they can pull those numbers over. So let's talk about being a reseller. So if you are a Unify reseller, it's the same Openscape and Circuit products you already know. So if you're familiar with the Openscape voice and you've used Circuit, it's the same goodness. So we're able to sell this as on-premise or hosted. It's all underpinned by Atos and their data center. And you're able to generate reoccurring revenue. So here I've got 15%, but actually we've upped it to 17% for all the MRC and NRC that the client is using. So you're able to generate percentages off of what the users are being sold for licensing and make your reoccurring revenue that continues to go through. So if you're currently a Unify dealer that's selling on-premise hardware, don't walk away from those hosted opportunities. If you aren't a Unify dealer, let's get you going and let's move forward and help you sell this solution. So there are some different specialization levels, and these are typical with most manufacturers. So you want to sign up to be a reseller and complete the cloud sales training. Then complete your different certifications as far as implementation and support and training. And then lastly, as you gain and achieve your different revenue quotas, you're able to get additional excellence there. So you can see a migration path here from authorized all the way up to master. So why do I want to be a master? Well, Unify gives incentive rebates to their resellers. So here we can continue to grow as we go through it. So 3% back end at the professional level, and then a 6% rebate at the master level. So obviously there's incentive there for the organization to continue to engage and get involved with the unified product. From a NTS direct standpoint, we have two ways to deliver this to you guys as the reseller. We've got an agent option where you're able to basically we'll white label it for you. We can handle all the billing for you, and then you receive that monthly residual income. So there's no need to register with the FCC. You don't have to worry about the telecom taxes. We take care of all of that for you, and basically make that happen with a white labeled invoice for you. The other option is if you are registered with the FCC and you are currently selling telecom services, obviously we can bill you, and then you can mark it up and go through your billing portal as a master reseller. So what exactly is the sales pitch for Openscape Cloud to an end user? It's really simple. It's how many users and what kind of pricing structure as far as what licensing scheme are we looking for. You can pick your favorite endpoint, the CP200, CP400, CP600, and then basically get that set up. The only thing the end user really needs is internet service, so obviously they can get to that cloud-hosted system, and phones register up, and they're able to make their calls and get everything done that they need to. So from a demonstration standpoint, you can see here that we've got circuit on the phone system. We're able to do everything we need. I can move over here. So you can see there's my circuit interface, right? So we have the different people attending that are all here. We can see the different groups and different options that I have as far as group collaboration. So I've got many users that I can communicate with and have conversations with. I can make calls and have full functionality here as far as who's in the presentation, who's in the meeting, and who are my phone calls. So I can also see who I've been calling and what's going on from there. If I wanted to do some video sharing, I'm able to show that through here. So you guys should be able to see that I'm fully functional with video capabilities and sharing that, and we're able to collaborate and do the different things from there. So let's get back to here. So that's pretty much how it works. I'm able to move calls from my desk phone to my laptop, my PC. I'm able to make calls and push and pull them to my cell phone. And so it's really a flexible solution. I'm able to really do a lot of collaboration with everybody that's involved. I can see if people are available, send them quick messages within each communication and community, and really kind of build a profile of information in regards to each kind of meeting. So what's it all cost, right? That's what everybody cares about. So from a cloud pricing structure, we worked with Unify and did some competitive analysis of the market space. We wanted to make sure that we were aggressive and relevant, so we've come up with this kind of functionality here. So typically an Openscape Cloud seat with one SIP trunk per each user. From an essential level, we're at $14.95, and then you can build all the way up to the enterprise level at $29.95, which gives them those additional functionalities of storage, et cetera, et cetera. Now, if a client wants to roll in the cost of their phones, they're able to do that here, and we can see pricing for a rolled in monthly expense of having a CP200 with that license and that SIP trunk. We're at $27.95. So as you can see, it's very simple. If I have 10 users at Essential with 10 CP600 phones, I'm at $279.50 a month. So very simple to structure it out and configure. NTS Direct is currently offering a cloud spiff. So you're able to earn up to 10 times the MRR up front. So you can see if I've sold, in this example, if a customer buys 100 Essential licenses at $14.95 each in a 36-month term, the reseller would earn $254 each month as reoccurring revenue, or the MRR, and then they also get $25.41 as their upfront spiff. So definitely take advantage if you can drive some business and get things going. This was a great opportunity for us to really get you guys excited about it and be able to deliver additional value add on your end. So how is the billing done and how is this all processed? I figured I'd show you a couple screenshots here. ITSP Direct is our billing company, so that's who's registered with the FCC, so we're able to deliver this for you. As you can see, we've got our catalog and it would have all the Openscape cloud solution in there. You would select how many of the users you can enter into your account, so you have your own little portal login, and you're able to see what's going on with your different customers and your sub accounts, and be able to do quotes and orders within this portal here. So you can see I've got a couple of sub accounts here that I just set up here briefly so you could see what that looks like. And simply just add the customer in, and you're able to add the parts to that customer and then activate it. So from a provisioning standpoint, congratulations, we've won the deal and it's time to get this solution delivered to the end user. Typically, the end user then fills out, with the reseller's help, I'm sure, the unified data collection sheet. So here we're defining what are our endpoints, right? What is the client using for endpoints? What is each user's email address? What's their name? What's their information? What kind of phone numbers they're requiring, so we can get all that configured up. NTS Direct provisions up those SIP trunks for you, and then Unify configures up the Openscape cloud solution in the cloud, and then the reseller is pretty much left to install the telephone endpoints at the client site, and then watch that monthly recurring come in. So a lot of the questions were, oh, what happens if things go forward? So service issues, the end users still reach out to the Unify reseller because we want the reseller to maintain that relationship with the end user. The reseller can escalate any issues to NTS Direct Tech Support, and we can escalate to Unify. So it's a seamless pattern there of support mechanism for you to be able to edit, change, and get your solution delivered to the client in a timely manner. So any change orders, typically, as you can see here on the left-hand side, we've got an administrator to the circuit application, and we can see which packages we have. So the end user or the reseller can go in and make adjustments to these packages as far as what they're looking to have, if they want to add additional things from there. If they're looking to add additional SIP lines or reduce or change the number of those, we would need to kind of process that through the NTS side of things and help get that delivered for you in a timely manner. And then lastly, if we're doing any cancellations and making those changes, we'd have to adjust that in the billing portal to make sure that the customer is all set with that. So I know this was kind of a high overview of what is the functionality and what's the capabilities of the solution. I guess I can open things up here and see if we've got any questions from the meeting. And do we have any questions in here? Looks like we don't have a lot of questions today, but by all means, if there was some questions that you guys had, I'm more than glad to help you guys with that. So let's take a look and see what we got here. If anybody needs to speak, feel free to unmute yourself and ask a question, and I'm more than glad to do my best to answer.
Is there a minimum of trunks they need to subscribe to?
It's a 1-to-1 ratio between the trunks and the users. So each one has their own dedicated trunk. So if it's 10 users, it would have 10 different trunks. So each one has their own dedicated talk path.
Small office with one person, one trunk's fine?
Yep. Yep. I mean, I would think that they typically want one or two, so that they can make calls between each other. But by all means, yes, the single user site with one call pathway would work fine.
And do they need to have a static IP address?
They do not need to have a static IP address. The like obviously the mobile phones, et cetera, are on the move. They just need the internet connection to be able to get to that Openscape cloud solution.
Okay.
Mike, this is Holger. Just for everybody else, maybe some of you have used this tool before or seen this guest access function before. Most of you are muted, or almost all of you are muted at this point. We do this on purpose, of course, when such a presentation happens, not have a lot of background noise introduced. The way for you to unmute yourself, on the bottom of the screen, right in the middle of the screen, there is this little microphone icon with a line through it, and that's the place where you would click to unmute yourself if you have a question.
Mike, is it possible to get a copy of this presentation?
Absolutely. I can get that sent over to you. And I can also add it to this conversation. So if you are a member of this group, you'd be able to see that presentation here. So Michael Paul, I'll get that sent over to you after the meeting is through.
Thank you very much.
Hey, you're welcome. All right. If there aren't any other further questions, I thank everybody for their time today and look forward to helping you guys out. Once again, if you have any further questions after the meeting or you're interested in signing up, feel free to go ahead and email us at unify@ntsdirect.com, or you can send it to mevans@ntsdirect.com, and I look forward to working with all of you in the future. Thank you much. Bye now.